When the Berlin Wall fell, most people thought that the possibility of war breaking out in Europe was something that we'd put behind us. But the Cold War never really came to an end in the Arctic, where the superpowers have been playing intelligence games all along, testing out each other's first strike capabilities. This game is taking place around the polar ice cap, both above and below sea level. This area also contains vast fisheries and petroleum resources that will become even more important in the future, and these nations are using military power to enforce their rights.
Arctic states are looking at a change from global warming. They're seeing where, according to the U.S. Geological Survey, potentially a quarter of the world's oil and gas resources may be under the Arctic cap. And with that comes, as you know, appropriately, a great race, a great game to see who can have access to those resources first.
Both throughout history and in more recent times, the Arctic has had an important military role, even in respect of conflicts taking place on the other side of the world. The Svalsat satellite station is located just outside Longyearbyen on Svalbard. It's eminently suitable for downloading satellite data because the distance between the Earth's satellites and the Earth is shorter here than anywhere else in the world. On the 24th of March 2003, when the US armed forces were heading towards Baghdad, they were stopped by a heavy sandstorm. There were two satellites circling high up in the Earth's upper atmosphere that were able to see right through the sandstorm. In order for these satellites to send their information to the Americans, they were completely dependent on being able to download their observations to a station in the Arctic. And this is where they were sent. The attack on Baghdad was able to proceed. War strategists have been totally dependent on the Arctic ever since the Second World War, because stations based in the Arctic have been able to provide forecasts about the weather in Europe 72 hours in advance. The Second World War was an entirely new type of war during which the Air Force played a crucial role. Precise weather forecasts were essential for the planning of air operations. Both the Germans and the Allies set up secret weather stations in the most inhospitable and inaccessible places they could find. One of these stations, Houdingen, was located on the northern coast of the island of Noord-Oostlanden on Svalbard. It was so inaccessible and remote that it didn't surrender to the Allies until the 4th of September 1945. The Iron Curtain came down almost immediately after the surrender of the soldiers at Houdingen. During the course of just a couple of years, the fronts between the Western powers and Stalin's Soviet Union froze over, especially the Arctic.